The new Multistrada V4, dominating all roads, has never been easier. A bike that combines the pleasure of sporty riding on asphalt with the possibility of off-road use, at the same time comfortable for touring and everyday use. As with all Ducati products, the shape follows the function. The work on the Multistrada V4 was strongly influenced by its technical soul. The large surfaces were worked on by aerodynamics and innovations in the chassis and frame to achieve a result that is both rugged and refined at the same time. To also visually increase the feeling of robustness, we worked with the bike body to compact the masses within the wheelbase. Panigale-inspired DRLs make the Multistrada V4 very sporty and easily recognizable. The volumes of the body are more balanced at the front. In particular, the 22-litre tank contributes to this major balance. The centre and rear parts of the body are particularly slim. This is very important when riding whilst standing. Standing riding was widely considered during development, and this is visible from a number of details. For example, the rear foot peg holder plates are very slim to allow an optimal off-road use of the bike. At the centre of the bike is the engine, the heart, the new V4 Gran Turismo. It is an extraordinary engine for a top-of-the-range dual bike. 1200 displacement, almost 13 kgm of torque, 170 horsepower, 67 kilograms. A truly small and compact engine. This engine already holds a record in the motorbike world, 60,000 kilometers from the start to the first major maintenance interval, which is the valve clearance adjustment. This is a truly important feature for a bike destined to cover many kilometers. This engine is light and compact. It weighs only 66.7 kilograms, 1.2 less than the 1260 it replaces. The engine is very compact. It is about 10 centimeters shorter, both in height and length, and only 2 centimeters wider. This extreme compactness is the basis of many technical solutions that have been implemented on the vehicle, such as, for example, a very specific weight distribution and a layout with a particularly effective seat position. Once again, the engine is the real heart of the bike. An engine with a lot of grit, 170 horsepower and almost 13 kgm of torque, but very soft and smooth at low RPM, rich in torque at mid-range and really exciting at high RPM. No detail has been overlooked in the design of the engine and to ensure that it is as suitable as possible for dual use. For example, the gearbox has been specifically adapted with a shorter first gear and a longer sixth gear than, for example, the Panigale gearbox from which it derives. The first shorter gear is extremely important for both city and off-road use, while the sixth longer gear allows you to deal with long highway transfers at lower RPM and therefore lower fuel consumption and greater comfort. The V4 Gran Turismo also takes advantage of all the technological solutions developed by Ducati in the MotoGP Championship, including, for example, the counter-rotating crankshaft, which improves handling and therefore also reduces effort even when the bike is fully loaded, and the twin-pulse firing order, which optimizes traction and offers the secondary but welcome side benefit of a very characteristic exhaust sound that distinguishes Borgo Panigale's V4s. The electronic package of the new Multistrada V4 represents the state-of-the-art in the motorbike sector in terms of performance, safety, connectivity and comfort. The electronic package is totally devoted to the rider, with cornering controls such as ABS, wheelie control and traction control. Skyhook electronic suspension, introducing the auto-leveling function into the Ducati world. As the rider and passenger weight increases, the vehicle is automatically brought back into setup condition. And vehicle hold control, that helps in uphill starts. The Multistrada V4 can also be equipped with tyre pressure sensors. As for the headlight and tail light, they feature the latest generation LED technology with, of course, also the cornering function. A novelty in the Multistrada world is the presence of the DRL, which has a very characteristic shape derived from the Panigale. A new feature of this Multistrada is the 6.5-inch instrument panel. This shows a really significant amount of information and is controlled with a new switch with joystick function. This new switch is part of a set that also features all the backlit symbols, ensuring better interpretation even while riding at night. For the first time, the 6.5-inch display has a multilingual configuration. A very interesting feature of this 6.5-inch instrument panel is the possibility of being integrated with a navigation function. In practice, thanks to an app called Ducati Connect, you can connect your smartphone with the instrument panel and see, without having to add any additional tools, the map, route and instructions. Being a fully connected navigator, it is constantly updated on traffic situations and changes in journey times. The Ducati Connect app allows mirroring not only of the navigation system but also other apps. Both mirroring and connection are via the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth systems, so the phone can be easily and comfortably kept in the pocket of your jacket, or alternatively stored in the space above the tank, which also houses a USB socket to keep the phone charged, and this proves particularly useful on trips and long distances. The Multistrada V4 is also the first bike in the world that can be equipped with a dual radar system, front and rear. The radar positioned in the front controls the operation of the adaptive cruise control, which, by means of controlled braking and acceleration, maintains a distance to the vehicle in front. This car-derived system has been specifically developed for two-wheeled vehicles. For example, braking is always progressive, specific to the user and the use of the bike. The rear radar controls the so-called blind spot detection function. What does it mean? It means that an indication through a blink, a flashing, appears on the mirror when a vehicle is approaching from behind in the so-called blind spot. The bike also features an advanced function, which we call Blind Spot Detection Plus, warning the rider when a vehicle is approaching from behind at speed with a potential danger situation. So, both systems, front radar and rear radar, allow safer journeys to control the rear and ensure greater comfort. The engine is at the heart of the bike, the electronics its intelligence, the chassis its skeleton and muscles. The Multistrada V4 has been developed looking for the best balance between road characteristics and off-road use. But ease of use was the motto for all engineers. But let's see the characteristics of this new Multistrada V4. The central part, the frame, is represented by a cast, hence monocoque frame, that directly connects the engine to the steering head. We've got a double-sided swinging arm, a trellis rear subframe, a 19-inch front rim, a 120/70 tyre at the front and a 170/60 at the rear. Suspension travel is 170mm at the front and 180mm at the rear. Thanks to a particularly light engine and careful design work on every single component, the dry weight of this new Multistrada is only 215 kilograms, meaning over 10 kilograms lighter than the average in the travel enduro sector. Our engineers worked hard to offer a level of comfort for both rider and passenger in terms of aerodynamic protection, vibration, and segment-leading intake and exhaust noise. The body shapes of the Multistrada V4 are the result of a collaboration with Ducati Corse engineers. Many numerical simulations were carried out, as well as wind tunnel tests to exactly define these surfaces. A great deal of energy was devoted to optimizing thermal comfort through the creation of a series of ducts that ventilate the side of the tank, or the use of techniques such as deactivation of the rear cylinders that switch off when the bike is at idle speed. But let's talk about acoustic comfort. Thanks to a particularly efficient aerodynamic study, well-designed intake and exhaust silencers, and also remarkably silent mechanic parts, this bike is certainly at the top of the segment. A very important feature of the new Multistrada is a very low level of vibration. This is ensured by the layout of the V4 engine and on a careful optimization of the mechanical parts. The extreme compactness of the V4 Gran Turismo engine has made it possible to develop the new Multistrada with a particularly interesting seat height. In fact, the standard seat can be positioned at 840 or 860 millimeters, but the bike can be equipped with a lowered seat, which, however, still maintains 50 millimeters of foam, bringing the seat height down to 810 millimeters. The bike can also be equipped with a seat with increased thickness, raising the seat up to 875 millimeters from the ground. The riding position has been carefully thought out. The seats are flat so as to allow longitudinal movements to increase comfort during long journeys. The rider's seat is narrow so that you can rest your feet comfortably on the ground. Another extremely interesting feature that always comes from a very compact engine in the vertical direction is the increased ground clearance, 220 millimeters, which means 46 millimeters higher than the Multistrada 1260. This obviously proves particularly useful and important in off-road riding. For a bike of this category, passenger comfort is certainly very important, and great attention has been paid by the engineers in the development of the Multistrada V4. The passenger seat padding is 25 millimeter thicker and the lower part 40 millimeter longer. The seat is wider at the rear, the handles are more comfortable to reach, and there is more legroom for the passenger when the bags are fitted. But how's this bike working? Alessandro Vallia, our most experienced test rider, is enthusiastic about it. Multistrada V4 I renamed the bike that travels alone. Its ergonomics are perfect. You can find each control exactly where you'd like it, and when you're riding in touring, you just wish the journey would never end. And when you decide to go faster, all you need is a click. When I switch to the riding mode, Sport Everything turns red. Andrea Rossi, recent winner of the Trans-Anatolia Rally, certifies its off-road behavior. The emotions that this motorbike is able to convey go really deep. You'll experience all this as Multistrada V4 is really fantastic, truly versatile, both on-road and off-road. Different roads, customers who like riding the bike in the most varied situations. This is the Multistrada V4. Many configuration possibilities for our customers. The Multistrada V4 is available in red. It is the version dedicated to those who love the 170 horsepower engine and the 215 kilogram weight. The central model in the range, the V4S, will be available in red as well as in a color called Aviator Grey. The Multistrada V4S features a higher level of equipment. As for the chassis, there are 330mm front discs with Stellema monoblock calipers and Skyhook electronic suspension with auto-leveling function. And for the electronics, there is a 6.5-inch instrument panel with Ducati Connect and Cygic navigation system, an LED lighting system, headlight and taillight. The headlight also features the cornering function. A fully complete electronic package. The Ducati Multistrada V4S can be ordered with both alloy and spoked rims. The Ducati Multistrada V4S also meets the needs of a wide range of customers. That's why we have designed a new package of configurations that can be ordered directly from the factory. Let's start with the essential configuration. Then, the travel outfit features side panniers, center stand, heated hand grips and heated seats for both rider and passenger. Next, the travel and radar version, where the front and rear radar managing the adaptive cruise control and blind spot detection functions are added to the travel package. More sporty customers will be pleased with the performance version that offers the Akrapovic Euro 5 approved silencer and a carbon front mudguard. And finally, for the most demanding customers, a full version is also available, which contains all the options described above. In addition to the Multistrada V4 and Multistrada V4S, there is a Multistrada V4S Sport, offering a dedicated bold livery and the performance package as standard, that is Akrapovic exhaust and carbon front mudguard. The V4S Sport version, of course, can also be ordered in full configuration. So, many are the configurations of this Multistrada V4 produced in Borgo Panigale. But for those who want something even more specific, an important series of accessories has been developed for each one of the reference worlds. 170 horsepower, a torque of almost 13 kgm, a 215 kilogram dry weight, 60,000 kilometers before the first major maintenance operation, dominating all roads, has never been so easy.
The roads to ride are infinite, the smooth and winding ones, the ones that crumble and the ones that are covered in dust, through the water and across the mountains. They don't even have to look like a road. You ride, you decide. New Ducati Multistrada V4. Rule all roads.
Il design del Multistrada V4 si rifà ai 4 principi fondamentali di Ducati, che sono Style, Sophistication, Performance e Trust, attraverso i quali vogliamo esprimere un'idea di stile non fine a se stessa, ma che integra e convive con la tecnica e la funzionalità delle nostre moto. Il Multistrada V4 ha quelle caratteristiche di stile proprie della famiglia Multistrada, come per esempio delle proporzioni e dei volumi molto alti e protesi in avanti, e sicuramente il proiettore anteriore con uno sguardo serio, proiettore doppio e la funzione anabagliante molto larga che la rende subito riconoscibile in strada. Le 4 anime del Multistrada V4 hanno influenzato il design. L'anima sportiva l'abbiamo espressa attraverso tutto il volume del frontale, con delle linee tese, aggressive, superfici fluide, e il doppio proiettore anteriore che richiama la Panigale V4. L'anima off-road ha influenzato tutto il retrotreno, la proporzione della coda è molto più snella per agevolare il movimento del corpo durante la guida in fuoristrada, e abbiamo voluto mantenere un'estetica molto essenziale con il telaietto in traliccio come elemento principale. Infine, la forma della sella pilota e sella passeggero morbide, confortevoli alla vista, e l'integrazione dei componenti elettronici ci richiama il contesto urban e touring. Il design del Multistrada V4 si è ispirato fin dall'inizio alla sua anima tecnica e alla funzionalità che volevamo raggiungere col prodotto finale. Per ottenere questo c'è stata una collaborazione molto stretta con gli altri reparti dell'azienda, come per esempio Ducati Corse per l'aerodinamica, l'ufficio tecnico per mettere a punto delle soluzioni che potessero farci ottenere un obiettivo di peso sfidante dato all'inizio del progetto. Tutto questo ha portato ad avere una fase di sviluppo in cui ci sono state molte interazioni tra i reparti, in cui abbiamo pensato e ripensato alcune soluzioni che magari all'inizio ci sembravano quelle ottimali. Questa collaborazione molto stretta ci ha portato ad affrontare un periodo di sviluppo in continua evoluzione, dove abbiamo ottimizzato diverse aree della moto per arrivare ad ottenere quegli obiettivi che ci eravamo prefissati, quindi leggerezza, funzionalità, ma senza snaturare il look prettamente multistrada. Un esempio di come la funzionalità ha influenzato la ricerca delle forme è la zona della calzata. In questa zona abbiamo lavorato molto a contatto con il reparto tester per arrivare ad avere un volume delle forme tali che potessero dare al pilota molta libertà di movimento durante la guida, soprattutto in off-road. Con questa moto abbiamo introdotto degli elementi nuovi per il panorama motociclistico, come per esempio i radar. Ne abbiamo uno all'anteriore e uno al posteriore che abbiamo integrato cercando di mantenere la pulizia generale dello stile. Un altro esempio sono le frecce anteriori. Le abbiamo riposizionate mettendole in una zona più protetta in caso di caduta. Il tratto distintivo della nuova Multistrada V4 è la convivenza tra elementi fortemente tecnici come per esempio il nuovo forcellone bibraccio ed elementi propri di stile come tutta la zona del serbatoio, dove abbiamo mantenuto la bellezza delle superfici e la pulizia generale del volume proprie dello stile italiano. L'ergonomia è stata fondamentale per lo sviluppo delle forme di questa moto. Volevamo dare al pilota una sensazione di integrazione e di massimo controllo del veicolo. Per raggiungere questo obiettivo abbiamo lavorato molto sulla parte posteriore della moto, quindi sella pilota, sella passeggero e volume della coda stessa. Inoltre la sella è stata studiata anche per affrontare lunghe percorrenze. Una collaborazione molto importante è stata quella che abbiamo avuto con Ducati Corse e il nostro reparto tester. Insieme abbiamo messo a punto delle soluzioni per ottenere un livello di comfort termico e comfort aerodinamico elevato. Un esempio di comfort termico è il downwash, è un condotto che porta aria fresca nella parte alta delle gambe che abbiamo voluto integrare nelle due braccia del serbatoio, proprio per non andare a intaccare la pulizia del volume proprio dello stile Ducati. Un secondo esempio è il condotto bypass, è un condotto completamente integrato, anch'esso ha la funzione di portare aria fresca alla gamba, allo stesso tempo anche allontanare l'aria calda in uscita dai radiatori. Un grosso lavoro c'è stato anche sulla parte frontale. I plexi e i deflettori anteriori sono stati studiati proprio per evitare turbolenze sul casco di pilota e passeggero che possono inficiare l'utilizzo ad ampio raggio. La dotazione elettronica del Multistrada V4 ha giocato un ruolo fondamentale per la definizione del design. Per esempio abbiamo integrato un nuovo dashboard con TFT da 6,5 pollici all'interno di una plancia nella quale abbiamo voluto curare ogni dettaglio. Un altro elemento importante è il nuovo blocchetto del manubrio. L'abbiamo ridisegnato introducendo la funzionalità joystick e la retroilluminazione per ottenere una migliore ergonomia e una migliore interazione tra pilota e dashboard. Sviluppare la Multistrada V4 è stato un viaggio sfidante e ricco di emozioni. Un progetto intenso durato 3 anni che ha visto protagonista l'intera azienda, al lavoro su una moto ricca di contenuti e di innovazioni. Oggi la sensazione è quella di aver raggiunto un traguardo importante e di aver